Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning in for the latest coffee break with the Catsurveys episode. Our guest today is Scott Gizzy. Scott is the Service Protection and Service Clearance Manager at Heathrow Airport. It is fantastic to have the opportunity to talk about the power of good quality data, its role in Heathrow's digital twin approach, and also what's on the horizon for Heathrow. So Scott, thank you for joining us. And I'd like to ask you for a short intro. Now, I know you're quite a well-known face in the industry, but I think for everyone's benefit, let's start with a short introduction.
Hi, Janos. Thanks very much for the chance to have the interview with you. A little bit about myself. I've been working at Heathrow for the last 18 years. I started off in construction as a service locator. So I'd be first on the ground with the Cat and Jenny, running around looking at the service plans, marking up the services, and then basically reviewing RAMs and making sure people were safe to start work around services. And I think when I started, probably wasn't the most common thing on building sites, but we built up at Heathrow. And then through my time, I worked my way up through the system. And I'd be actually involved with writing the RAMs and making sure the contractors were safe working around the services, built up to site manager and service protection manager on some really big projects like the T2 project. And then I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to move across to work at Heathrow for Heathrow Direct and cover the whole airport. So I've been doing that role for 7 years now. Really enjoy it.
So in a nutshell, a wealth of experience. So Scott, with data being at the core of your role, just how important is it that you have the highest quality of data?
It's really important due to the nature of the airport, especially the age of it, because it's been there since the 40s, even pre-40s as a RAF base. So working in live airport obviously is a very challenging environment. We encounter lots of services, live, redundant and uncharted. At the moment, we'd say about 75% of our service information is accurate, so about 500 millimetres or better. We have many different service types. All of these are critical to the operation of the airport. Most are dangerous to contractors working around them as well. So as you can imagine, it's really important we get things right. Some of the services are unique to the airport environment, and there are some that only work on a supply and demand system. So digital accuracy and safe working techniques are key, especially around these services. It's a large and congested area. Just an example, there are more than 45,000 manholes there. There are hundreds of thousands of miles of cabling, hundreds of miles of high pressure mains, including fuel, water. So as landowner and service owner and client under CDM, we have to provide the most accurate information we have. We do this via our service clearance and service protection process, and we hold meetings with designers, contractors, and look at information we have at the area and what proposed work they're going to do to assess the accuracy of the information we have in those areas. If we're not confident on it or not happy with the information we've got, that's where we will instruct pre-work surveys, so your PAS 128 style surveys. We get survey companies in and they basically get that information back to us. So quality information is so important for us.
Wow, really interesting, and some impressive numbers you just said there. Now, good data is only powerful when it's being used. How do you ensure that data provides the foundation for activities at Heathrow?
All our service and utility information for the airport footprint is held on our digital model, Heathrow Maps Live. So once survey information or post-work as-built information has been handed back to us, that Heathrow Maps Live will be updated. So this is the information that will be issued to designers and contractors, and this is what they will or should use for designs, and most importantly use as the base of their site live model. So basically any works that go on site, anything that's found or uncharted will update that model. So each site has a live model that they can print their permit drawings from, which is key to safety on site. And then before the actual work starts, it gives you a guide of what services have to be verified by a trial or investigation to prove the information.
Oh, it certainly sounds like a great process, and I'm sure it's working perfectly fine for you guys. Now, we've provided a large volume of data that has been part of the Heathrow digital twin. Do you see this type of digital twin approach being integral to really unlock the power of data?
Definitely. The better information, the smoother the construction projects will run. It helps with design, less delays, obviously, hopefully reduces service strikes, near misses, and the potential for injury and cost. The same for our maintenance of our assets and issues we have with faults and bursts. This helps us trace out and locate different services, or if a burst or a fault in a cable, what areas this will affect. So the better the information we have, that really helps us out. our contractors and our digital teams are always working and looking at the best technologies to help improve the use for this information and improve the safe working.
I couldn't agree more with you, and obviously we are lucky enough to be part of that process. So thank you, Scott, for sharing this with us. Now, finally, I'm really interested in your thoughts on what is on the horizon for Heathrow now that we are seeing a gradual return to normality.
So at the moment, our Heathrow Maps Live system I described earlier is based on an Autodesk Map 3D model. We're in the process of moving this to Esri, and then we will really unlock the digital information and its uses on site. It's got obviously so many attributes that can be used for that, and really improve our uses. Obviously, the digital information is only a guide. It doesn't replace the requirement for further investigations like trial holes, but it will give us, a good insight before people can get on site. And once you can use that, you've got the ability to actually use it on tablets, phones, augmented reality on site, virtual reality, so you can actually really give the site teams a fly through on that information, which is great. And then even though the airport's quiet, we've still got a lot of work going on. You doing maintenance of our assets and obviously improvement works to the infrastructure around the airport. And then hopefully soon the big project will return. We'll get the expansions, T2 expansion project, like the Terminal 1 demolition. So some of these really big projects that we're keen to get going, hopefully they will return.
Great. Thank you for that, Scott. And thank you for painting a possible future, a picture of the possible future here. And I was really pleased to hear, you mentioned technology, you mentioned the digital innovation, obviously, is an integral part, and data. Thank you for sharing your views with us. I was expecting an interesting session today, and I tell you what, I was not disappointed. Once more, Scott, thank you for joining us. Have a good rest of the day and see you later.
Thank you very much, Danny. See you soon.